Right, so that's going now. Right, so what we've got, guys, is a little bit lower intensity, but like I say, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be easy. So we're going to start off with a little bit of a stability section, and then it's just basically going to ramp up, getting more and more challenging as we go through. If there's anything that you're not sure on, or you lose sound or anything like that, there, either give me like a wave, or if you are struggling with an exercise, don't be afraid to send a message just on the group chat, or even just unmute yourselves and ask me a question directly. You're more than welcome to do that. So let's get going right away. Like I say, we have got our stability section to build up on. If anybody has caught up on the video from Monday, you'll have done bits of this, but I thought it was a pretty good one to start off on, because one of the things I've been basically reading up on, that's going to be a big risk whenever we get back to playing, whatever faction of rugby that we are playing, is going to be non-contact injuries. So things like hamstring pulls, groin pulls, those kinds of things. So we want to try and stay as stable through the body as we possibly can. So what we're going to start off with, guys, is about 2 minutes of each exercise. So your first one is just going to be a lunge and reach, Do as many as you want on each side before you swap. But we're going to keep working on this here for just 2 minutes. So all I want you guys to do, you're going to be into a split squat, so 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. You drop down into a lunge and reach the hands back, so you're getting that stretch across the hip flexor. And then as you come up, you're going to reach the hands forward, so you're actually getting a stretch on that hamstring on the opposite leg. So it's that hip flexor stretch, hamstring stretch, hip flexor, hamstring, just working between those two positions. So as many reps as you want on the right, as many as you want on the left. Let's just change that slightly. So again, guys, I'll demo that again just because I think it missed off the bottom of the camera. So it is just, if you need to, that lunge while leaning back, come up, stretch the hamstring, stretch forward. So lunge, lean back, reach up, stretch forward. So do 2 or 3 reps on the right, 2 or 3 reps on the left, and just keep alternating between the two. Each time you reach forward, what you should hopefully feel is a stretch coming down through the hamstring. So if you do feel, so if you guys get going with that, we'll be there for about 2 minutes, give or take. So it's just that lunge, lean right back, so you get that stretch across that hip flexor. As you come up, stretch forward, and you're aiming to straighten that front leg. You're trying to straighten that front leg, whichever leg happens to be in front is what we're looking for. That's good. So again, guys, just working through it. If you're struggling with balance, so I see a couple of people are a little bit wobbling about, try not to have yourself on like a tightrope where one foot's right in front of the other. Try and imagine feet separated, so you've got that train track instead, guys, or train track kind of motion instead. So you drop down at that lunge, and then it's that reach right forward. So again, loading that front hamstring, come back, stretching the hip flexor on the opposite side, reach forward, stretch that hamstring. Like I said, we're going to spend 2 minutes on each one. You can move in between them. You can swap about. So another 30 seconds. We're going to try and up the balance element of this next one. Welcome, guys. So next one, guys, just going to be a single leg deadlift. So it's a progression of that one. And what you try to do is try and get 5 reps at a time before you swap sides. So what we're going to look at is just single leg, balance on 1 foot, both hands reach down, try and touch the shoelaces, and control back up. Not going to let that foot touch the floor, and then back into the next rep. So it's fully standing up each time and coming right the way down. So try and get 5 reps right, 5 reps left, and just keep alternating sides. So we're in that single leg deadlift. So once you've done 5 on one side, do 5 on the other, and then swap back again. Obviously, if you find that you're really struggling with this one, go back to that first one, so that lunge, where we lunge, lean back, and that reach as we come up. So it's that lunge and lean back, or that reach as you come up. But again, it's just trying to get different parts of the body warmed up, getting as stable as we can. Again, if you do fall over, it's no big deal. You just get going again. You just start again with that same exercise. So that single leg, reach down, both hands, try and reach for shoelaces, right back up. Any of you guys that have any home-based equipment, whether you have dumbbells or kettlebells, you can load this one up, stick a dumbbell in your hand, load that weight up a little bit heavier. It's not necessary, it's just another option. Like I say, as we move through it, we'll be just upping the intensity bit by bit. You can play around with different speeds. And if you're able to do it quite quick, can you slow it right down? If you're slowing right down, can you do it a little bit faster? But again, try and get that control. If you find that you're falling all over the place on this one, make sure that you're not locking out that knee that you're standing on. So it's slightly bent, gives you better suspension, and it means your balance is generally that little bit better. It'll also build well for the next one. So, for you guys that are indoors, you may want to avoid this, especially if you're in a flat or you're got somebody below you. But and you can continue doing the first two exercises. However, if you're outside or if you're in your own house, you got a bit of room, I want you to draw an imaginary cross on the floor. So just an X shape. So 4 boxes. And all you're going to do is just work your way around those 4 boxes. So you're going to do a hop forward, a hop to the right, a hop backwards, and a hop to the left. And you're just going to work your way around 3 times around that box. And as soon as you've done 3 times round, you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So there's 2 different ways that you could do this. So you can take it that you land and spring into the next box each time. So it just becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or what you can try to do is try to stick the landing in every box. So you hop forward, stop, hop to the side, stop. So you stick the land in each one. It's not right or wrong in this one, it's just that ankle stability. So 3 times around the box, then 3 times around the box with the other leg. This is good. So we are working our way through those different positions. Again, if you do go off balance on this one, doesn't matter, just reset, go again. So we'll take this up for another 30 seconds. Your next one, you're going to need to either lie on the floor or you're going to need to have a bare bit of wall beside you. What you're going to try and do is try and get your head, your shoulders and your arse against the wall. Your head, your shoulders and your arse against the wall, or just lie on the floor. From that, you're going to try and get your arms back onto the floor and you're going to slide them either up and down the wall or slide them along the floor. If you can't quite get that in touch, it doesn't matter. It's just a nice shoulder flexibility exercise. You get as close as you can. I don't quite have enough room on the wall, so I'm going to do it on the floor. Okay, so we're going to swap over. So that becomes just lying down flat on the floor, creating that cactus shape with the arms. So your arms are back onto the floor as much as you can. Slide them along the floor till they stretch up and slide them back down to your elbows or by your side. So it's just that slide along the floor, up and back down. So if you're doing it against the wall, make sure that your head, your shoulders and your bum stay on the floor, or stay on the wall rather. But if you're doing it on the floor, gravity will help you out on that one. So it's just that stretch, really nice one for the shoulders. Every time that you bring the elbows down, it'll feel like quite a pinch between the shoulder blades. It's quite a challenging exercise. Now if you're not quite flexible enough to get your hands onto the floor, doesn't matter, just bring them as close as you can. So if your hand only comes to there, that's fine. Just keep pushing it down towards the floor as close as you can get it. That's how we look. That's good. So Ian, you might want to do a little bit of a squat so you can get that reach overhead, because that bit of the ceiling above you is just getting in the way. Much better, that's good. That's good. So you're trying to keep your arms in touch with the wall or in touch with the floor, depending on what you're using, for as much as possible. What we're going to do for the last 2 minutes of this stability block, you're going to choose any one of those or any other exercise that you want to do, guys, in terms of stability. So whether you want to go into your own personal stretches or you want to do a bit of a mix and match of the stuff that we've already done, you can do that. Okay, so it's just going to be a mix of that. Ready and change. So whatever you've just been doing, you can repeat whatever you want out of those, whether it's the hops, whether it is the single leg deadlifts, or whether it is the lunge and stretch. That lunge back, lean back, reach forward. So lunge back, lean forward. So you work between those two positions. Again, if you want to do your own personal stretches, now is the 2 minutes where you need to do it. I'll have a quick look. Chairman Gaz appears to have disappeared. Hopefully he's not died there. Tell him I did that. You can tell him I did this easy session for him. No, just because it's less intense doesn't mean that it's easier. Doesn't mean that it's easier. So we're going to work our way, guys, into 3 mini circuits. Okay, we're going to work our way into 3 mini circuits. So our first one, again, we're only just gradually ramping the intensity up. Our first one is going to be hip bridges. So if you've got a mat, you know, and you want to use it, that's fine. You don't need to. Just change that again a little bit. So you don't need to, but your next one's just going to be hip bridges. So whenever I say change, guys, you've got about a minute to grab yourselves a drink and get yourself ready for your first circuit. Okay. Okay, guys, you got about a minute, so relax there. You got about a minute. Go grab yourself a drink, anything you need just to get yourself ready. You're going to go into hip bridges as your first exercise, and then cobra press-ups as your second exercise. So I'm going to demo those 2 to start off with, and then I'll be demoing the third exercise in the middle of the circuit as we go. So hip bridges, just going to be on the floor, flat on your back, and your basic one, both feet on the floor, and it's just that hips up into the air, back down. So just that hip bridge, hips up, back down each time. High as you can get the hips off the floor, back down. Keep the heels pressed into the floor. Don't rise up onto your toes. So it's just that push through the heels. Second exercise is going to be a cobra press up. Cobra press up, guys, you're going to try and get your chest onto the floor. You're going to leave your hips on the floor, and it's a press up. So you're just going to work. It's a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of shoulder and chest strength. So it's keeping hips on the floor, trying to raise and lower the chest is what we're looking to do. So we're starting off with a minute of each of those. So we're starting off with those hip bridges. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Off we go. So into those hip bridges to start off with, lying on the back, driving the hips up into the air. Now there are ways that we can make that a little bit more challenging. So there are ways we can make that a bit more challenging. So what you can do is you can do single leg bridges, where you lift one foot off the floor, push the sole of your foot towards the sky or towards the ceiling. Couple of reps on one side, couple of reps on the other. You're going for a solid minute, so just keep alternating. Your next one becomes that cobra press up. So again, where you're just lowering your chest onto the floor, and you're bringing yourself back up to fully extending the arms, but trying to keep the hips touching the floor, trying to keep the hips down close to the floor in the next one. So you got 10 more seconds of these. This one's just going to be straightforward. It's just going to be 9 minutes, so 3 times round the 3 circuits. Okay, into those cobra press-ups. 2, 1, and change. Off you go. So cobra press-ups. So chest onto the floor. Chest onto the floor. But then leave your hips on the floor. Press up. Each time. So every time that you come up, think about squeezing your arms in tight in against the sides of the body, and then back down onto the floor. It's a really easy version of a press up. If you find that your lower back is giving you any trouble as you do this one, squeeze your glutes, so squeeze your bum muscles, push your hips into the floor. Helps relieve some of the strain that goes onto the lower back in this exercise. Your third exercise in this round, really simple, is going to be a Superman. Superman, you're going to raise right hand and left foot at the same time, stretch out. When you come back in, place both hands down, swap sides. So it's just that reach out with both hands, or sorry, both hands, what am I saying? Right hand and left foot, tuck back in, then reach out with the opposite hand and the opposite foot, and back in. So you're trying to keep your body stable, trying to keep your body steady the whole way through that movement. Ready? And change. Off we go. So we're into that Superman reach. So reaching out with the right hand and the left foot. So from all fours, reach out straight as you can. Pop back in. Straight as you can on the other side. So it's that reach and tuck back in. Reach and tuck back in. This is good. Looking fairly stable across the board. If anybody wants that extra challenge, what you can do is you can do it from a press-up position. So rather than being on all fours, you're in a press-up position. You do the same thing. You lift the opposite hand and foot, place them back down. Same on the other side. But I'm looking for good control. So what hopefully you shouldn't see if you're going for the press-up one, which is fine. Just make sure that you're not having to slam your hand down because you feel like you're about to fall over. You should have control of that movement. So going back to those bridges in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So second round, back into those bridges again. So you're back onto your back, heels on the floor, hips up into the air, back down. We're going to add a bit of a reach into it this time. So what I want you to do is you're going to reach your right hand over to the left. So it's twist, up and over. So twist, up and over each time. So it's that big bridge, big reach. Big bridge, big reach. So reach over and back. So I'll spin round so you have a bit of an idea what that looks like from the other side. So it's that big bridge, big reach overhead. Big bridge, big reach overhead. To get the hips up and reach. Hips up and reach. So you'll notice when I'm out to the side, I'm completely up on one shoulder, and then I'm completely up on the other shoulder. Alternating between those two. That looks pretty good. We're going to go back into those cobra press-ups in 3, 2, 1, off we go. So chest all the way down. That's just that narrow press up, squeezing the bum muscle, squeezing the glutes, pushing the hips into the floor. So it's like cobra or upward facing dog in yoga, and back down. And you're just working between the two. So it's a fairly easy exercise. It's a good one for shoulder health. Keeps the shoulder in a fairly strong, stable position. So it means you're not putting it at any excess risk. So again, we're ramping up the intensity bit by bit by bit. Okay, so we've got one more round of these 3 exercises. So you're back into your Superman. So that alternate hand and leg reach coming up next. And then we got one final round of these bridges, these cobra press-ups and the Supermans. So ready and change. Off we go, guys, off we go. So we're into that Superman again. So either all fours, or if you want the extra challenge, you go into the press-up position. And you reach opposite hand, opposite foot, opposite hand, opposite foot. Looking good, pretty good across the board. Try and keep it as controlled as possible. So what I want you to try to think about is try and get your hand and foot to leave the ground at the same time. But also, try and get them to touch down at the same time. So you've got to really think about bracing through the core, trying to get them to be as smooth, as controlled as possible. Because anybody can just, that's dead easy. It's the control we're looking for between the two movements. 15 seconds more, guys, then we're into our final set, which is just going to be those bridges again. 3, 2, 1, and bridges. Off we go. So we're into those bridges. So onto your back, you can go either the single leg bridges, double leg bridges, or the bridge with a reach overhead. This is good. So you reach over the head and back as far as you can. If you haven't quite got room to reach, that's fine. But all you can do is just try and, as you bridge, try and just roll onto one shoulder. So you roll right up onto one shoulder, then you come back down. You do the same thing, bridge up, reach onto the other shoulder. So if you've not got room to reach overhead, just do the roll. Forget about the reach, just that roll to the side, roll to the side each time. You've got your last set of cobra press-ups as well. Coming up in about 10 seconds, And change, let's go. So last set of cobra press-ups, chest onto the floor. And then chest comes up, hips stay as close to the floor as you can get them. Each time you come up, squeeze your arms tight against the sides of your body. Thinking about twisting your hands into the floor. So you'll feel your elbows rotate each time. So they're locked in tight. And it's just keeping that one moving. Like I say, lower back flexibility. It's good. So again, while it's definitely not yoga, there are elements of yoga into it. There are elements of Pilates based in it. Because again, what's always good about training, guys, is trying to take the good stuff and apply it to your own training. Okay, guys, last change back into those Supermen. Off you go, back into the Superman. So the all fours, alternate hand, alternate leg, reaching out. Keep it as stable as possible, as controlled as possible. The less your body is moving, the better. So all I should see, guys, is like mechanical movement. All that happens is your arm raises up, arm comes back down. Other arm comes up, arm comes back down. So there's no movement of the shoulders, no movement of the hips, no swinging side to side. So it stays dead stable just through that movement. The steadier you can keep yourself, the better. So it's just that reach and back, reach and back. Looking good. 15 seconds, guys, then I want you to grab yourselves a quick drink. Because then we're going to go into our next circuit, Time, grab yourselves a quick drink if you need it. So, you've got about a minute, but our next one, guys, now is where we start to up the intensity. So our next exercise is going to be plyo lunges. We're not looking for maximum height on these. We're looking for as many reps as possible. So all I want you to do is you're just going to bounce into the next rep each time. So all I want you guys to do is just set up for a lunge. All we're going to do is come down, little quick swap. All you're looking to do is just keep that movement going. 1 minute, just keep moving. Okay, we're not looking for maximum height of everyone. All we're looking to do is just swap, 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 swap. Your second exercise is going to be a plank to press with a bit of lateral movement, which I'll show you while you're doing those lunges. But we'll get going with this first round in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Plyo lunges. Off we go. Now, if you find, guys, you get any knee pain or anything like that, swap that plyo lunge for a reverse lunge. So just alternating sides, reverse lunge. Same principle applies to the very first thing we did. If you find your balance is all over the place, don't have your feet on a tightrope, one in front of the other. Try and get them on 2 separate train tracks, one beside the other. We've got 4 exercises in this circuit, and what we're going to do a minute of each, 45 seconds of each, and 30 seconds of each, and then we move on. Let's keep going. You're over halfway through this first one, keep moving. So your next exercise is plank to press with lateral movement. So you're going to come into press up, plank, press up, move yourself as far sideways as you can, down onto the elbows, back up onto the hands, and sideways, far as you can. 3, 2, 1, and swap. Off we go. So plank to press. So press up position, down into a plank, back up into a press up position. Sorry guys, managed to untie my shoelaces. When you're up, swap over, sideways, come down, come back up, and move sideways again, and back down again. So move as far as your environment will allow. So if you've got, big living room, big garden, keep moving yourself side to side. If you're trapped, there's 2 of you in the living room, you haven't got a huge amount of room, or you're in the bedroom, not a huge amount of room, just do it on the spot. Doesn't matter. So next one, guys, we're going into a Superman crunch. You're going to go right arm, left leg for the whole set. So right arm, left leg for the whole set. What's going to happen is they're going to leave the floor and they're not going to touch the floor till the end of the set. So it's going to be that Superman out, and then elbow to knee, and then out. Ready? And swap. Off we go. So right hand, left foot, elbow to knee, stretch. Elbow to knee, stretch. 1 full minute. That solid crunch. Right and left, in and across the body, and out each time. Try and get that elbow to meet the knee underneath the body and back up. Stretch out each time. So that right hand and left foot shouldn't touch the floor for the entire set. I think you might be able to guess what the fourth exercise is. Fourth exercise will be the opposite side. So you're reaching out with the right hand, come back till it touches the knee, and then stretch out. So you got that combination. It's like a bicycle crunch, like a mountain climber. You'll get that alternating contraction coming right across the core. So that diagonal from the right ribs down to the left hip. So we're going to swap sides in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And swap sides. So this time, left hand, right foot. In and across the body, stretch out. In and across the body, stretch out each time. And it's just that big crunch in, big stretch out. So now we balance out. So before that previous set, we went from right down and across the body. This time we go from left down and across the body. We're looking for that alternating contraction each time. Looks good. Full minute. So you know now, guys, what's going to come next. So you're back into those plyo lunges, okay, in 20 seconds. So you still got 20 seconds of work to do, not 20 seconds of sitting on your knees chatting to each other. There we go. Back onto you'll be back onto your feet, back into those plyo lunges in 3, 2, 1. Let's go, guys. You're back on your feet quickly as you can. Up, pop over, pop over, pop over each time. Looking good. So 45 seconds, quick changes. There's 45 seconds for every one of those 4 exercises. So we're not worried about height. We just want to keep them going. Just swap feet. As soon as you've got enough height to swap your feet over, the faster you swap your feet, the less high you have to get. So if your feet are slow, you're going to have to get lots of air time and come across. But otherwise, you can keep quite low to the floor, swap those feet quickly. If you get any knee pain, if you're struggling to balance, come into a step backwards, into that reverse lunge instead. Ready, and swap. So we're into that plank to press and that lateral movement. So press up, plank, press up, move sideways. Plank, press up, move sideways. So you're alternating sides. You're alternating those directions. This is good. Move as much as your, like I said, move as much as your environment allows. So you can see where I'm demoing, I've not got a huge amount of room, so I'm only doing 2 or 3 steps. If you've got a bit more room, use it. 10 more seconds and we're into that right hand, left foot. Right hand, left foot, Superman crunch. 2, 1, and change. Off we go. So right hand, left foot, Superman crunch. So knee meets elbow and stretch out. If you're not quite able to see that in the video from that angle, knee meets elbow, stretch out. Looking good. I can't quite afford a living room as big as Joe Wick's for me to spread out in. 15 more seconds, guys. 15 more seconds, then we swap sides. Changing in 4, 3, 2, 1, and swap side. Swap side. So it's left hand, right foot this time. Left hand, right foot. So during this session, so if anybody's done any of the previous sessions, I'm sure you agree, heart rate was flying the whole way through. But this one's a little bit less intense. Doesn't mean your heart rate's not going to be raised. It just means that you should be able to control the movement all the way through. You control it all the way through. So when we get to the end of this time in 15 seconds, you're going to be back up onto your feet for the final round of jumping lunges, the final round of plank to press lateral movement, and the final rounds of your Superman crunch in and across the body. So back onto your feet, into those jumping lunges in 3, 2, 1, off we go. 30 seconds per exercise. So that swap, little quick swap of the feet mid-air. Let's move back so it can be seen on the YouTube video as well. So it's that swap, swap, just swap feet mid-air. Just trying to get those swaps as quickly as you can. So it's only 30 seconds, so you need to swap over quickly as well. Remember, if you do have that trouble, any knee issues, take the jump out of it, take the impact out, step backwards into that reverse lunge. Ready, and plank to press. So press up, down into plank, back up into press up, move sideways, and do the same thing at the other side. So you're moving right and left, plank to press. Let's have a little look. It's good. This is good. So Chucky and Ali, I'm going to have to get my Wi-Fi sorted so I can do these workouts properly out in the garden, because I'm very jealous of you two at the minute. And swap over, Superman crunch, right arm, left leg, right arm, left leg. Okay, off we go. So that's stretch out, tuck in, stretch out, tuck in. It's only 30 seconds, of which 10 seconds is already gone. So you've still got the same option. I don't think anybody needs to, but if you want to do that from a press up position, you could do. But it's very, very difficult from a press up position. Ready, and swap side. So left hand, right foot, left hand, right foot for the last 30 seconds. You'll get a break at the end of this one. So you will get a break at the end of this one, just adjusting something just here. Ten more seconds. And time, guys, on time. Grab yourselves a drink. You got 1 minute, 1.5 minutes to get yourself ready. And we are into our final circuit already. So our final circuit is going to be just like we've just done. So what we're going to do is do 4 exercises. Each exercise we're going to do for a minute each. Then we're going to do it for 45 seconds each. And then we're going to do it for 30 seconds each. So that each time you do it, it's the longest time. So this one is a bit more about getting your heart rate up. Not massively, but just a little bit more. So we're going to start off just dead basic body weight squats. I want to see hips coming right down. I want to see feet staying flat on the floor throughout. So it's that full squat all the way down, all the way back up. Full squat all the way down, all the way back up. You're going to do that for a minute. Following that, you're going to go into get-ups. So get-ups, no hands if you can. You're going to try and lie back onto the floor and stand back up without using your hands for 1 minute. That's going to be your second exercise. I'll go through the third and fourth in just a minute. Nice, going over in squats in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Whew. Just got myself a nice static shock off my mat there, throwing it out of the way. So we're full body weight squats each time. Doesn't matter which way your toes are pointing, as long as your knees go in the same direction. So if your toes are pointing forward, don't see the knees dropping in. So knees go same direction as the toes each time. So that drop right down, right back up. Try and set a good rhythm. Just keep moving, keep the legs under tension. And just keep moving for that solid minute, non-stop, 60 seconds, that's all it is. So we're already over halfway through. So that's it, drop down, explode up, drop down, explode up, each time. 10 more seconds. So then you're straight into those get-ups. Okay, so straight into those get-ups in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So lying down onto your back, starting back up, onto your feet. So down onto your back, back up, onto your feet. Try not to use your hands. If you think you can't control it, use your hands, that's fine. But do your best to control that movement without needing to use your hands. Now if you find yourself always getting up on the same knee, try and alternate. I find it much tougher getting up and down on my left side, but I probably need to work on that. Try and do a little bit even between both sides. Next one, you're going to be back on your feet. You're just going to have hands on your head and into reverse lunges. So no jump this time, just hands on the head, reverse lunges. You got 7 or 8 more seconds of these. and change. Off we go. So hands on the head, reverse lunges. Stepping right back, big stride back, drop right into that lunge. Want that knee just to tap the floor. Just the lightest touch off the floor. So let's have a look. Looking good. So knee touches the floor. Good. As soon as you stood up, just alternate legs right back into the next rep. Big stride back, push off that back foot each time. So make sure you're not just sitting it behind you, you're actually stepping back, big shove back up to the top. 15 seconds, we're going to do dead man's press ups. So that's down, lift your hands off the floor, and then push back up. So it's a dead man press up. So 1 minute, change it over in 3, 2, 1. Hands off the floor, press. Hands off the floor, press. Each time. So you lose tension, back up. So it's a dead man's press up. So you can't bounce your chest off the floor. When you get to the bottom, lift your hands for a split second, then push into the floor again. So we're not doing the cobras, we're trying to lift the entire body this time. This is good. It actually looks pretty good across the board for most people, but just for the benefits of the YouTube video, if you are doing press-ups, doesn't matter whether your elbows are tucked in or slightly out to the side. What matters is you create that arrow shape between your shoulders and your arms. If your arms are directly out to the side, you start putting your shoulders under excess pressure, okay, which we don't need to do. Okay, so drop those shoulders down a little bit, create that angle. Whether it's a really sharp angle or slightly out, it doesn't matter. So we're going back to our first exercise, going for just 45 seconds, back to bodyweight squats. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So just bodyweight squats, 45 seconds, drop down, right back up. Try and get in as many good reps as you can. Keep the chest up. Don't allow yourself to collapse forward into it. This is good. So again, any forwards that we've got, think about lifting in the line out. Anybody that's going to be making tackles, think about creating that good body shape for tackles. You don't want to hit a tackle where you're in that kind of position. You want to hit tackle with your back flat. Okay, so it's good practice to get it in, strengthen those muscles in that position. Got 10 more seconds, 10 more seconds. Then we're going to swap straight back into those get-ups. So lying down onto your back, back up onto your feet. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. So into those get-ups. So sit down onto your bum, back up onto your feet, and rock up. Each time back up into standing. If you're more flexible than me, you might be able to go down from standing straight down onto the floor without falling over, and then straight back onto your feet. I can't demo that one, but that is an option. It's good, so keep yourself moving. It's 45 seconds, of which 30 have already gone. You're then into those reverse lunges again next. So that alternate and reverse lunge where you step back, push off the floor, back to standing. So you spring back up to standing. Ready and swap. So we're into that reverse lunge. So on your feet, step back, knee taps the floor, and back up. And when I say taps the floor, I mean just the lightest tap. The lightest tap. If your knee landed on top of a ladybug, it wouldn't kill it. You'd just be knocking on a shell. Shell? Yeah, shell. Wings, whatever. What I don't want to see is anybody pile driving their knee into the floor, end up with bruises on their kneecaps. Looking good. So strong stride back, push off, back up to standing. Good. Who remembered? Most of you remembered. Hands on the head. That's good. I forgot about that one. So hands on the head. We're then into those dead man press ups. Now off we go. So into those press ups. Down, hands off the floor, press back up. So as long as you lose tension at the bottom, every time that you push off the floor, push hard off the floor. So some of you guys are going to be better at press ups than me, I guarantee it. What I want you to try to do is that when you come up, see, can you go light on your hands at the top as well? Not saying you have to clap, but you could take hands off and push, hands go light. If you're strong enough, you might get a clap in there, but you are trying to accelerate away from the floor all the time. So you're trying to accelerate hard away from the floor. So we're going to our last round, which is going to be 30 seconds of each exercise. In 3, 2, 1, back to those squats. Let's go. So hips down, drive up, hips down, drive up for 30 seconds. This is your last set of squats. So everything you do now, guys, will be your last round. So last set of squats, last set of get-ups, last set of your reverse lunge with your hands on your head, and finally your last set of dead man's press-ups. Ready, and change. We're into those get-ups. So down onto your back again. Just getting yourself down and up, off the floor. What's more functional in any sport, whether it's contact or non-contact, than getting your arse off the floor again, having fallen down? Let's keep working. So we're into those reverse lunges with hands on the head in 5 seconds. So keep going. Can you get another rep in? And hands on the head, reverse lunges. Off we go. Off we go. So these reverse lunges, especially when you power up out of them, so big stride up, that will help build your hamstrings, your glutes, will get you ready to sprint, okay? So the stronger your glutes are, the stronger your hamstrings are, the faster you are able to push off. So that actually comes into your stability exercises as well. If any of you guys are doing running at the minute, so whether you're going out, doing 5K, or you've been nominated for the, run 5, donate 5, nominate 5, if you've been nominated for that, try and throw in the odd sprint in there. Because if we're not conditioned to that, that's where you're going to pick up injuries. So you're into your last round, your dead man's press ups, 2, 1, and change. Let's go. Dead man's press ups, 30 seconds to finish. 30 seconds to finish. So there's one thing, unfortunately, we can't train indoors, or not really in a garden either, unless you've got a really long garden, is sprints. So that's where I come into with those non-contact injuries. So we were talking about hamstring pulls, groin pulls, those sorts of injuries. We want to prepare ourselves as best we can. One of the best things you can do, guys, is to practice sprinting. So if you are going out for a run, get a good thorough warm up in. Time, 30 seconds done. But like I was saying, if you're going out for a run, get a good thorough warm up in, throw in 3 or 4 high quality, top effort sprints, and that will help keep the hamstrings conditioned for when we do get back to playing rugby. But for now, guys, that is really, really well done. That is another session finished. Fantastic work, guys. Fantastic work. So I will see you guys next Monday for the next session. Well done.